oops. Let's fix the layout. I'm trying to fix the layout.
You're gonna be like the big one there.
Okay, so we are live.
There we go. We're live.
We are live, and
But you don't know this virus. But you don't know this virus. It's new, it's different. It mutates and goes in different directions with a different strain of itself. So whether I'm present or absent, the Executive Council of the Nation of Islam must call our scientists. Come and let's sit down. Yes, sir. Our virologists, our epidemiologists, those of us who know the science. We cannot let them bring anything to us that we don't dissect.
And we are still dissecting. And still dissecting.
Brother Tony, it's something about the minister. The minister just says, we listen. You can't come our way without it being dissected.
Come on.
Period. Every time I hear it, it just waters my soul that we have such a man on the scene that's basically saying, hey, don't come unless you're going to get checked. And I love it.
That's the thing. In the Brother Loud voice.
Right.
So listen, welcome in audience, Thursday Night Talks. Woo, woo, woo. We're here again. And listen, we got something exciting this evening. Could be for both the male and the female, but either way, you know what we tell you to do, right? You gotta go and bring in some peoples with you. Go get your peoples.
Right.
Like
That's right.
Get your peoples. We need everybody.
You and your cousins too.
That's right.
That's right.
And like and share. We need you to like and share. Sharing is caring. So we need everybody to come on in, especially your young girls.
Yes.
Okay.
Indeed.
Get your young girls in. Get your teenage girls. Your adult daughters. Your sisters. Your aunts. Your mothers. Whomever you can find.
That's right.
Close in proximity, or just text it. Let people know that we're on, because we got something special, some healing, some loving, some things that we want to make sure that you get across in this beautiful and peaceful month that we're in. So if I didn't say it in the beginning, Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak for those that are observing the month of Ramadan. Greetings. Welcome in. I just wanted to say that and just say I'm just elated. I'm happy to be here. I got my co-host holding it down. Seventh Region Coalition still holding it down. Help us out in the comments. Get everybody excited. Come on and bring in your peoples as well, because we want all the peoples. Okay, we live on Facebook, YouTube, and IG. So help support what we have here, because what we have is all about saving your lives. See, I hadn't said that in a while. So
right.
This is really about saving your life, because what we're about to talk about, and we know where the most of the work lies with the what, the who,
the woman.
And that's what we're going to talk about this evening. Okay. So I'm your sister Michelle. I'm your moderator for this evening. And I just want to give a tops off to Brother Loud, because he's not able to be here with us tonight. We totally miss him, but he had a prior engagement, but he misses you all. You will see him next Thursday. But again, we here, we hold it down. This is what we do. Okay. So I'm going to hand the baton over to Sister Kalila, because I want her to take the baton. She ain't looking. There you go.
I'm looking. I'm just excited. I'm sorry.
All right. All right, so go ahead and take it
Look,
over.
all right.
That way.
You already have the baton, sis.
Okay, I got it. I got it. It's mine. It's mine. I got the baton. I am so excited about this particular show. As you all know, that I am a life coach. And one of the purpose of me starting my life coach journey is the lost art of femininity. Why do you say lost art, Sister Kalila? Well, because our femininity as women has been stolen from us. We have been proclaiming the masculine energy for years, for decades, and it has been such a lost energy that we have lost ourselves as the female. And I'm not just talking about Black women, I'm talking about every female there is to man. We have taken on the torch of the man.
Come on.
And we have put the man aside and just allowed him not to do his job in regards to the civilization of this world. We have to know what our place is. And I'm not saying that loose, I'm saying it loosely, but we're gonna go into why we as women need to know our place and take back what is rightfully ours, that has been given to us by Allah Himself. That's why we have the MGT and the GCC class, because it's the feminine culture of our life.
Come on.
And this sister is not an MGT, but she is a sister. And we're gonna bring her up, and we gonna all celebrate together. But without further ado, we got our brother here, and like Sister Michelle say, this is not just for the sisters.
No,
this is also for the brothers.
That's right.
Now you're trying to take what I was gonna say.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm talking too much. Brother Tony, you talking too much.
Excited.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. All right. So I'm passing the baton. Daddy, you don't snatch the baton. Don't snatch it.
You know what?
I want to say peace and hotep, shalom, abaragani, buenos dias, buenas noches, sak pase, assalamu alaikum, greetings to everyone, free to land.
Yes.
Whatever greeting you give to people, I'm greeting you with that special greeting right now, because we are indeed a universal people, and we want to greet one another always in a universal way.
Yes,
and what our sister, who's going to be introduced in a moment, I'm not going to introduce her, but what she has to share tonight is universal teachings, because a nation rises no higher than its woman.
That's right.
And
come on.
This is knowledge that not only our sisters need to know, but also our brothers need to know. Our brothers need to be restored back to their original positioning in civilization, which we have lost our way. We have to learn how to become the head once again, and learn how to become the maintainers of wives, of women, of family, of community. And so with this teaching, this kind of knowledge that we're going to be entering into tonight, that's going to help us all further along. We as men, we must know how the bodies of our sisters work, how the bodies of our wives work, how the bodies of our daughters work, when we encounter things, which our sister is going to go more into that here tonight, and we're going to get into a beautiful and awesome discussion. And this is part of saving lives, saving communities, saving families. And with no further ado, I hand the baton back to both of you.
Okay, well, I thank you, Brother Tony. I appreciate that. So now listen. We're going to bring out our special guest, and then I'm going to read her beautiful, beautiful bio, and then we're going to get into this conversation. So
let's get into it.
We're gonna bring her in. Let's bring her in with a wrong round of applause. Miss Carisha Walker. There she comes. She's coming up. No, we did
I
a little
saw
weird.
her
Oh,
briefly.
we
Let's
saw
bring her back
her
on.
and
There she is. All right.
First,
woo!
the whole show with everything that you all just said. The whole show, we can shut the whole thing down right now.
Oh
We ain't
no, no,
shutting
no.
nothing down. Uh-uh.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh, that
goodness.
was amazing. Yes, we are tapped in. We are tapped
That's
in.
it. We're tapped in. Listen, welcome in. Welcome in, Sister Carisha. Welcome in. Seventh Region Coalition Thursday Night Talks. Woohoo! Anyway, I'm
Yes.
excited. All right, let me calm down. Let me calm down. Let me get myself together. So let me read the title of what we're talking about tonight. And then, Sister Carisha, let me do your bio because I am absolutely excited about reading it. So our title this evening is For a Womb Awakening, Reclaiming Our Forgotten Power Center. Just go get your mama, go get your peoples, go get your peoples. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, Carisha Walker, owner of Wound of Roses LLC, is a spiritual empowerment coach, certified womb practitioner, womb awakening ceremonialist, author, and clinical social worker who supports, teaches, and empowers women and girls to embrace the feminine within. Carisha specializes in educating women and girls about proper wound health, honoring the female cycles, and supports women on their self healing journey. In 2016, Carisha graduated with a Master's of Social Work degree, an MSW, from the University of Central Florida. She has a combined 10 plus years of experience working with domestic violence survivors, juvenile offenders, and children 0 to 18 years of age, where she provided trauma focused medical health therapy at their homes, school, and daycare. Carisha has also provided services at the Juvenile Detention Center where she facilitated and guided meditation, breath work, and mindfulness with the detendees. Detendees. Okay. In 2018, Carisha began in an intense healing journey that led her into a healing childhood trauma, serious womb issues, and various types of abuse. In 2020, Carisha initiated into the Sacred Woman Rites of Passage intensive program with the Honorable Queen Afula, Afula, where she learned and practiced the ancient African healing arts and a Kemetic spiritual principles. In 2021, Carisha took a 12-week course with Womb Cry Institute and became a certified wound practitioner. Carisha's motto is I travel the world with this ancient healing medicine and will take it as many as along with me or along whom are willing to come. Let me re-say that again. I will travel the world with this ancient healing medicine and will take as many along who are willing to come. I just want to make sure I got that right. Carisha is the ideal speaker, facilitator, and teacher for sister circles, middle and high school special events, and as well as college, day and weekend retreats, conferences, churches, luncheons, summer camp programs, parent meetings, young adult summits, and more. She has, I believe, she does some bookings, but before I read that, I got another quote from Sister Carisha. The footprints we leave in the sand today is the blueprint for the future. That's from my sister.
Beautiful.
So there's some booking information that we'll get into. I believe what we'll do it at the end so that we can make sure that everybody has all that information. Because you've got some other things here, some bookings, some journals, so some really, really good stuff that we all need to have. So we'll get in more on that at the end. But other than that, Sister Carisha Walker, welcome to Thursday Night Talks. We're so glad to have you here. Such a blessing.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for having me. Really, it is an honor. I do not take this opportunity lightly, and I am a fan. I am a fan of Thursday Night Talks. I never thought I would see my face in one of the pixels, but I am honored to be here. I am grateful to God for the opportunity. So thank you.
You're
You're welcome.
welcome.
You are our
And
honored guest tonight.
Yes,
absolutely. This is
indeed,
a beautiful thing.
indeed.
Well, team, before we even get into any questions, I want to leave this moment for Carisha to just maybe give us a short overview just of, you know, just your little humble beginnings, right? And then we can get into more about, your womb journey, because that's really what we really want to understand and know and really get intimate about. So maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then team, we can take over from there.
Okay.
All right. So I know you read the bio. I like to think that where I am now has always been the journey from the moment I entered into this planet. All of the experiences that I've had, the places that I've been, it was just always a part of the journey. In 2018, there was an apparent opening that happened for me. I had gone through a separation that ended in a divorce. And through that process, the pain of going through that sparked an awakening for me. And all I knew was that I wanted the pain to go away. Like I remember screaming on my floor just from the depths of my soul that I wanted the pain to go away. I had gone through like a really deep depression for about 4 months. And then all of a sudden, there was just this new energy that entered into my being, and I began a very intense spiritual journey. I found myself just only wanting to be in the woods all the time, and I still do. I'll take a hike, get off on a hike, 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, because I just felt the comfort of being next to nature. So there was a cleansing process that was going on, and I did this just alone for maybe about 8 months, and then different mentors and coaches, spiritual mentors and coaches, came into my life. That just naturally happened, and began to bring me to my path, and I just began to watch the synchronicities of it all, where I need to be, and different things. And then a part of that was just a lot of trauma, a lot of healing, generational things, remembering the trauma that I went through as a child, abandonment stuff, unfortunately some sexual trauma that went on. And so I did a lot of healing around that. I had no idea what was coming. So from that, I just began to, like I said, just kind of watch the signs, listening, intently meditating, and just listening to the Most High to guide me on how I needed to serve myself and to serve my community. And being open to that wisdom and to that guidance just landed me here as a spiritual empowerment coach, where I support women on their own self-healing journey, a lot of like shadow work, a lot of childhood trauma. And that's what I did as a clinical social worker. I'm not practicing that right now, but I did a lot of trauma therapy with children, as we read in the bio. But there came a point in my spiritual journey. I was with one of my little ones. He was about 2 years old. I was at his daycare, and I remember saying, I don't know how to help them anymore. It came to a point where the Western modalities for healing trauma, I couldn't work with that because I knew other ways to help. And I started to run up against a lot of roadblocks with wanting to do maybe meditation or yoga with them, because I knew that the trauma needed to pass through their body. And, nature therapy, of course. And so what I felt was true. And so the energy guided me out of that work and into my own practice. And so that's what I do. I do a lot of one-on-one coaching with women. I do different classes when I need to, listening to the guidance to say, okay, this is time for a group class right now, or do a one-day special event. So that is the work that I do. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. Well, okay, so I got a lot of questions. So anyway, Sister Kalila,
Me
Brother
too.
John, if you guys want to start, because I got my own stuff going on. But let's kick it off, because I want to hear her wonderful, beautiful journey.
Okay, so let's dive into the actual title, Wound Awakening.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who um, are not familiar with the term womb, it is the base of creation, it's the base of civilization. In the Nation of Islam, we are taught that God created himself in triple darkness.
The womb.
Darkness is the womb.
Mm,
So when we are diving into the womb of our mind,
yes.
right? When we're diving into the womb of creativity, right? We're not talking about the the vulgarity of things that we see on TV.
Mm,
We're talking about the manifestation of what's to come. How do we tie that into the womb? And how do we deal with the manifestation of what to be? I want to talk about this with you, Sister Carisha, because a lot of times our current energy is based off of vulgarity.
mm,
Um, I just want to have a baby. I
mm.
don't know the reason why I want to have a baby. I just want to have one because little Shanae down the street got two, and then I want my taxes to go up because I can file taxes with two babies, and you know
Okay.
I I just want it
That's
to
real.
be no,
It's
Michelle's
real.
making faces, but it's real.
Or
it's
because you just want to have a
real.
baby by this person, thinking
It's
that that's
real.
going to be your ticket in, like that's your portal to be with this person, right?
Right.
Like this is
Oh, he got green eyes and he got
Right.
good hair.
you got
So I'm gonna
curly
have a
I want to
hair.
green
hook them
eye.
in.
Right. Exactly. So I want to touch bases about the womb and how important the womb is for the entire planet. So can you share? I know that's a very big, huge, broad question, but I want to kind of dive into that 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 space, if you don't
Yes, thank
mind.
you for that. And what a beautiful description. The womb is our sacred space. So everything is created from there. The womb of our mind, the womb of our heart, the womb of our sacred space. And that is where all civilization is created from. That's where we create worlds. Everything that has been manifested in our physical reality was created through the womb. Everything, no matter what it looks like, whether it looks chaotic, whether it looks aligned, whether it looks godly, it was created through the womb. And that is the reason why it's important that we realign our thinking with the sacredness of the womb,
Mm,
with the womb, and that's how we have to reclaim the power. I think that's a part of our show for tonight,
right,
reclaiming the power of our center, and stop taking it as a joke. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Because when are not honoring that space, we're creating people who think that having a baby is going to keep somebody around, or let me have
Right.
this baby because it's going to help me with my taxes, that type of things, that type of
right,
thinking, is just where the work is, where we need to clean up.
right,
Right.
Yeah.
The thinking he's gonna love me more if I have his baby.
right,
That type of thinking. But Sister Corisha, here's another thought that comes to mind, because as we've been emphasizing already, it's not just important to know for our sisters, but also for men. It's just when you're dealing with the concept of the womb, that God Himself created Himself in the womb of the universe. And when you're talking about men of leadership all throughout history, they had an experience where they had to go for a certain period of time into a womb, such as Prophet Muhammad. He went to a womb of a cave where he received divine revelation.
Right.
Many leaders, such as Malcolm X, he had to go to prison in order to discover what his life purpose was. Likewise, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spent some time in prison. And it was there that when he came out of prison, his mission evolved. And so this is a very important concept also for men to learn. If you could expound a little bit more, or a lot more if you'd like to, on that particular topic.
Yeah, when I think about the womb is about the dark, right? It's about the darkness. So we were just talking about how God created itself and from darkness, right? And so when we're having to be in these darker places, that is the feminine. That is the womb where we can awaken, where we can imagine, where we can visualize, right? And so when we go back into the mother, like I like to think the womb as the mother, we get a chance to be rebirthed when we're in prison. You know, it doesn't have to be a physical prison, but when we're in prison, we have to go into the caves. You get a chance to hear the womb of the mother, right? And so when we're out in our physical world we're so busy doing this, and the other, we don't get a chance to go into the darkness. We don't get a chance to go into the caves to be able to get our guidance. And so that is just magical in itself, to even look at a prison as being the womb. I never thought about that, but as you were speaking about it, it makes a lot of sense. You know,
Sister Carisha, we're living on a prison planet. The way it's been made.
Yes, yes, yes. So I like to think about it as that, you know, we're going into that sacred space, that time of being set aside to actually listen and to get our guidance, to be rebirthed.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. I have a question for you. Because I'm into meditation, and I do a lot of that. But I want you to speak about the mental, right? Because we're talking about the womb, the mind, because we know that the mind is very, very powerful. You said something about how we can speak, right, and tell our bodies what we needed to do, or when we want to restart something or restart something, whatever that is, right? But there's a strong mental component that has a very strong connection to every portion of our body. But let's talk about the womb. I want you to talk about that and maybe infuse some spirituality in there, because between those two is what either gonna stop,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let me give you a perfect example after we finish talking about that. So, the mind is very, very powerful, right? And so, visualizing, having a thought has been creating everything that we see that's going on right here just by a thought alone, right? So, what Sister Michelle is speaking about, I'm so glad you brought this up, is using the power of our mind to bring balance back to different parts of our body. You can speak to the body, you can speak to the organs, you can speak to any part of yourself with practice and meditation to bring it back in harmony the way that it's supposed to function at its fullest capacity, at its highest frequency, through visualization and through meditation. I'm going to give you a perfect example of how this worked for me. So, at the beginning of menstruation for me, I've never had a regular menstruation ever. 45 days, it skipped 2 months, 3 months. It just showed up whenever it wanted to.
Right.
When I began my womb healing journey, with doing all of these different practices on myself, one day I decided I was going to go into a meditation and I was going to speak to the womb, right? And ask her, and not ask her, but to encourage her to return back to her highest functioning. I wanted to be back on I wanted to be on a 28-day cycle, which is aligned with the moon cycle, right? That's never happened before me, but I understood why, that there was a time when we as women was on a 28-day cycle, right? And so I wanted to be aligned with the cosmos, with the outer cosmos, because we have our own inner cosmos, but I wanted to be back aligned with that. And so what I did is that I practiced meditation. I practiced imagining myself going into my body, spending time in my uterus, spending time in my ovaries. And I did some forgiveness work in that space first to release that. And I asked her to please return back to your highest functioning, to return back. Remember yourself being on a 28-day cycle. Remember that you know how to do that. And I practiced this for maybe about 2 weeks. And there has not been a month that missed. It is 28 days exactly. But I've also done this with some of my clients. I had a client that was struggling with, this long-term bleeding for 2 months, and I did have her into a meditation, and it went away. It went away. But that is the power. We have to become friendly again with our body, encouraging it to return back to its God functioning.
Beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brother
I got
Tony, you
another
had a
one.
question.
I'll heal.
My question, of course, Sister Carisha. I'm the only brother here, but
And it's so good to have this is balance. This is my
yes,
this is bringing. This is why we needed to bring balance back to the planet so that we can work in a cohesive manner, create beautiful things together. So to have the masculine in the building is where we should be.
but I am. See, like the Bible verse, reverence the womb that bore you. Like I'm just enjoying this, and like I'm always very careful when it comes down to these kind of conversations, and because what I'm as a man, I'm entering into sacred space here. But my dear sister, I have a question. In regards to healing, you talk about healing the womb. How, as brothers, how do we need to heal? Just applying what you're discussing right now.
Sure. So anything specific? Well, let me just touch on this for a moment, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
We forget that there's a part of men that also holds trauma. It also holds stress. It also holds variation, all of those things. And it's the prostate for the men. It's inactive. We have an active womb, right? But they still hold all of that in a particular space. And that same meditation that I just told you that I travel to and I help my clients on that, I also guide men into that same type of meditation when we go and visit the prostate and you work through releasing those different traumas and things like that, changing up your lifestyle so that you are not carrying the stress that you need to be carrying, that you have a medium that you use to bring relaxation and calm and balance to the body, whether it's meditation or breath work or going for a walk or going for a swim. And we have so much demand on us that we don't get a chance to really set time aside for care, for self-care, and but yes, that is absolutely a thing. And a lot of times men have these different tumors and things like that on the prostate, cancer and things like that.
Right. What enters the stress that enters our body needs a way to come out, and we do a horrible job oftentimes not to let it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. So I just want to piggyback off this question, and then I'm sorry, Lily, you can. I just want to. I don't want to lose the point. There's something that Brother Tony said, and I've talked about this to a couple of people, but the importance of when you're with your mate, right, your husband, and there's something about how he talks over you.
Come on.
You know where I'm going with this, Carisha? Right. Because he can affect you in a positive way, or he can create death over you, right? By the words he speaks, even if it's not verbal. Because energy transcends.
Come on.
So
This
before
is
you
my
talk
stuff
about
right
that,
here. Let me get in. Let me get in. But that is so true. Like I think Sister Kalila and I, as we was preparing for
Mhm.
this yesterday, we were just having just sister conversation. But that is absolutely true. The energy of your person is so important for your healing, for your openness to be able to have the open dialogue. Oftentimes we're really timid to be able to have these open discussions. Energy is for real. It is a real
Right.
thing. The energy of a person can help you heal. The energy of a person can help you. It will cause harm and sickness in your body. Let me just give you a really quick story. I was working with a young lady. She had contacted me for a consultation, and her concern was that she's getting pregnant. She's had 8 pregnancies, but she wasn't able to go full term. She's missed a lot of miscarrying. So I knew immediately, even when she filled out the consultation paperwork, that the miscarriages were happening because of some unforgiveness that she had stored. That was immediate for me. And so once we got on the phone call and I'm talking about the different dynamics between her and her husband and things like that, after we got finished talking, there was so much trauma that was still stored in her being, in her mind, in her womb. Unforgiveness of father, unforgiveness mom, unforgiveness of herself. And I had to explain to her that that was the reason why the babies wasn't staying. They're wanting to come through, but they will not come through until you clean up your house. You have to clean up your house. And what I told her, he's sleeping in one bedroom, she's sleeping in another bedroom. And I told her, as a practitioner and just as a healer alone, it would be very irresponsible for me to help you become fertile with this stuff going on. These babies are extremely intelligent that are coming through here, and they know things are not right. They
Right.
are, they know
They
things
feel it
are
in the
not
womb.
right. You don't even like him. He don't even like you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to be real with that. Do your partner even like you? That is a very important detail about getting pregnant.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, do you
yeah.
even like each other? How
Wow.
do, how do you
Wow.
look at him? How does he look at you? Does he rub your womb? Does he, this is a partnership, right? So anyway, I
Mm.
digress. What questions do you have? Because I
Keep going.
the thing about it is that
That's real.
we have to be responsible. We cannot
Yes.
be bringing beings into this planet, and you have no connection to each other. You don't even talk with each other. But again, it's all about bringing the babies, thinking that that is going to resolve the issues. The baby
Right,
is not going to come here and resolve your issues. These babies are coming for war. These
right,
Right.
babies are
right.
coming for war. There is a spiritual war that is happening on this planet, and they don't have time for you to be bigger and wonder why daddy at one end of the house and you at another end of the house.
Come
Right.
on now, speak, teach.
Right.
So I told her we can do some other work, but helping to bring harmony and balance into your womb to help you to bring a baby, that would be irresponsible for me. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do
So, speaking of irresponsible, there is, and I hate to play the advocate of the scale, the lower scale, but let's deal with irresponsibility. There has been a serious paradigm shift as it relates to the nurturing and the maturity of our youth today. We have been taught that this youth is a special breed,
Right.
however, very untainable breed, right? And some part of the generation, we have lost the ability to love properly. So, by not loving properly, we do an injustice to to what is coming to our life, right? So, and then you have us as adults, we sit back and say, "Oh, if it was my child, I wouldn't." Or if it, oh Lord, oh Lord, look at little Johnny over there. Somebody need to get little Johnny. So, so instead of
Yeah.
using the term that we used to use back in the 70s, it takes a village to raise a child. We just look back and just say, if that couldn't be a little rah rah baby, because I get a little rah rah a couple of pieces. But
The disconnect is there.
just right,
Yeah.
right. We put so many emphasis on our personal village
Yeah.
and not helping or aiding our village abroad, because again, when we're talking about in the Nation of Islam, we have a curriculum that's called the study guides,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And with these curriculums,
Self-improvement.
it teaches us about self improvement, is the development of community, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're not doing justice to the little community,
Yeah.
how can we possibly grow as a people in the broader spectrum of the community to come? So, can you kind of elaborate on that for us,
So
sis?
one of the things that came up in the beginning that you started talking was love, right?
Mm,
We don't know how to love properly, and that's
Teach.
because we just don't know what
mm,
love is yet. Like, so
mm,
we think that love is all about possession and control and, wanting somebody to do things this way and wanting somebody to do things that way, instead of appreciating this being for how they are showing up in their avatar and their personal journey. So that's one of the things I think we're needing to just revamp and be open to
mm.
new ways of loving, to new ways of loving from God's perspective of love.
Right.
And that takes work, it takes time, and it takes practice, and us to be open to losing all of the concepts of what we
Mm,
don't love to be.
mm. I had to
And
cut on my fan.
and really just being willing to unlearn that. The other part about village is in our DNA.
Mm,
That is who we are. It is in our melanin, it is in our hair, it is in our blood, it's in our bones. So we're always trying to return back to the village because that's what we know. Part that what happened was this Western world is taught us about individuality. Go for yours, independent woman. Do this. Go get your own. Step on as many necks as you have to in order to make yourself, climb up
mm,
the corporate ladder. Defame this person and go get what you want to get. And it broke the structure, right? It broke the structure of the village. So everybody's like, honey, yeah, like you said, little Johnny, look at little Johnny, go get little Johnny. But little Johnny really may need Sister Carisha, or little Johnny may need Brother Tony. And because we can't do it all as parents, and that is one of the things that Queen Afua teaches us, that sometimes you got to have seven moms or seven dads, not that they're coming to necessarily parent, but if you allow the village to come in and help, there will be different levels of mentorship that these people can give to your child, because that's, you can't give it all to them in
That's
mm.
right.
one being. So if we can learn how to not be so possessive, like that's my little Johnny. Yeah,
Right.
we need help. We
Right.
Right.
some things I can assist you with, and just allow ourselves to be open to that. But
If I may comment on something that you just shared, dear sister, because that's so powerful. Because in many African traditions, different African communities, um, there is the invaluable concept of an uncle and an aunt,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
to some degree we still practice it here, but it's been like almost far removed
yeah,
from the reality of these children nowadays growing. I teach in public schools, and I see it. It's like the guidance is not there, the parents are not guiding, and the uncle and the auntie are not guiding, but the proper role of an uncle or an auntie, like where the father can't step in because like the father's always going to be like, I told you this, da, 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 da. The mother's always like, I told you, da, 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 da. But the uncle comes in like, what's going on, nephew? All right, can I have a conversation with you?
Right.
Now, the very same thing that the father's been telling him all this time, now the uncle can ease in
Got a remix on
and
it.
have a real conversation.
Exactly.
And is able to experience a lot more progress that the father was not able to make. Same thing with the mother and the auntie. And
Yes.
so,
Brother Tony, it's a stigma. It's a stigma, excuse me, on being an auntie. A lot of people, a lot of older women, or a lot of seasonal women, they frown on. They don't want to be no. I ain't your auntie.
no, we
And
want to be young.
right,
Right.
and the thing
reason
is,
why is because we don't celebrate the aging. We don't
Right.
right,
30 is the new 20. 40 is the
right,
new 20. 50 is the new 20.
Yeah.
right,
When are we going to age?
right,
Age gracefully, of course.
right.
They can
And
say that the 40s is the new 20s. I know what I'm waking up to every day. I see some new creases here, a
right.
little bone crack there. You can call it the new 20s if you want. There's
But
a lot.
that's real. But that's real because a lot of times, because we want to be so in tune with the trend,
Yeah.
right? That we don't want to look at oldness, because oldness is death
Right.
to the modern mind, right? So because we are not, we don't want to grow old, we don't want to be considered an auntie or an uncle. Go on, pops, or go on, aunt. You know what I mean? Because that's considered the oldest. But the key element, like you specified, Brother Tony, when you're the auntie, you're pretty much the guidance counselor of the family,
And you got
right?
power.
The
You got
guidance, right?
power.
Right. So
Don't
I
let go
just
of your power.
right,
Embrace it.
exactly. I'm going
Exercise it.
to get me an aunt t-shirt.
You can wear your auntie shirt.
I'm gonna wear my aunt t-shirt. I'm official auntie.
So let me jump in, because as I want to take a spin from what we're talking about,
Yes.
is that I think that um, with the whole scenario of the communication, right? What we say to us and what we say to ourselves, and how it transcends, and who we're connected to, and even being an auntie or uncle, whomever it is, right? So, but I think that what we have to remember is that if we're talking about the womb, and we're talking about how all this develops within the womb, right? Now we're talking about how when we're birthed, or even if it's someone, we still always have that maternal, at least for women, we have that maternal connection, even if it's not our child, right? We have that connection.
Sure.
I want you to talk about maybe some of the successes that you've had. It could be women, it could be men, but I really want to talk about those moments where it transcends, like we're saying, auntie, uncle, but what does that really mean, right? Because if we're talking about the healing and the transcending, how does all of this transcend to a child that may not have had that experience, right, but is seeking the experience, and as a maternal woman making a connection with a child, or even if it's a man, I just want to hear some success stories, because I want everybody in the audience to say to themselves, as I'm going through this healing process, it's not just me, right? It's who I'm connected to, because we're connected, right? We're talking about the room, but it doesn't matter. We're still connected in
Right.
all forms of fashion. So I just want to hear about some success stories that maybe you work with, or you've helped to kind of see that trend, that trying to think of the word, that connection, or how it has transcended,
Yeah.
beyond, that person or persons.
Yeah. So once a year around January, February, I normally do like a weekend retreat, which is virtual. And through those retreats over the last few years, what I've been able to see is the ones who attend the retreat, the relationships with their mothers get better, because they've been able to resolve some issues during the retreat, and to understand that that connection, your womb is still connected to mom, still connected to grandma, and different things like that. And so you are healing not only your own traumas, you're healing your lineage, or
Mm.
sitting down with this type of healing. And so there's a poem that's out, and I forgot the name of the poet, but it says, heal a woman, heal a nation. When a
Mhm.
woman heals, she
Mm, mm,
heals the
mm,
nation.
mm,
When
mm,
she is
mm.
focused in and she's consistent and she has the support, the children will heal. All kind of changes will happen, because now she's making sure that she's taking care of her body by doing, eating the proper foods, because she understands how foods are connected to her healing as well. She's changing her lifestyle. Maybe she's not staying up all times of the night. Maybe she's taking, now she understands the importance of rest, and now she's able to transfer that information to her children, who probably stay up to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning playing their games. And so that is one of the reasons why it is important for us to heal. So those are some of the things that I've been able to witness. I mean, I've had women in my program where even sometime when the mom is not here in her earthly body anymore, she still have been able to reconcile
Mm.
dysfunction that she may have had with her mother through those, different healing processes. So yeah, when a woman heals, she can heal her whole household.
Yeah, I
Let
just Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
But
No,
Did I
no,
answer
no, no.
the
I was just
question?
gonna no, I was
Mhm.
just gonna say that, it's just that, when it's like when you're around different children and not your own, it's like I have this tendency. They're not my children, but I can feel them, right?
Mhm.
I can pick up their energy, and you know what I mean. And I start to do what I do with my sons is I start to counsel. I start to try to understand what's happening because you can feel it. They're not my children, but
Yeah,
how but I can feel what they're going through, even if
Mhm.
they don't say it. So that's why I
Right.
just want to bring back what Sister Kalila was saying. There's that's that connection that we
yeah.
have. Even though they're not from us, we still have a connection.
There's a concept called the mother code.
Mm.
And the mother code is just what you described, your
Mhm.
ability to feel through your womb space where there is a disconnect, whether it's in your family or not. You just feel it. And that is the power of the womb. And that's why we have to make sure that we are doing the healing, that we are getting the support that we need. The mother code is so deep that you can walk into, I don't know, I'll say Walmart, and almost feel how many women are in there. When you can embody the feminine, when you can embody the mother, when you are connected to the cosmos, the cosmic mother, is so strong. And but yeah, that's normal. That is normal as the feminine, as having that womb. And I want to be clear that you don't have to have your physical womb, because we do have sisters that have had hysterectomies. So you don't have to have the physical womb. The energy of her beauty still
Mm.
remains. She is still taking up space in that space. So it's okay if you've had hysterectomy or partial hysterectomy. The power of what she is remains.
Right.
Mhm.
And I can bear witness to this, and I always sick my children on Sister Michelle all the time. And I said, "Get them, Sister Michelle,
That's right.
acting up in school. Get her."
That's
you
right.
know so I can definitely bear witness to this, but I want to resonate, and then I want to also give a shout out to my best friend, Adria, if she's on here. She's always been an instrumental force in my children's lives, and she don't have any children, but my children are her children. And we have to be able to identify what we when we use the term godparents,
Mm,
what does that mean? Okay, not just because you my homegirl. No, this is somebody that if anything happens to me or my husband, they will take the role as a mother, as a father, as a confidant,
yeah.
and to actually be able to stop where we left off, right? So I salute my best friend because she is not only my little, I don't want to say ride or die, but she's my partner. She my
Right.
you know So and her birthday is coming up. Hey, happy birthday.
Yeah.
But I want to touch bases in regard. I want to take it all the way back, Sister Carisha. I want to go back to slavery
Mm,
and the fear that our womb carried,
Mm.
and what we are dealing with now as it resonates to what world we have now created on a more futuristic area. So when we're talking about the womb of our ancestors and how we have been um, mentally the fear of our baby boys, especially our baby boys, and how we have put fear into the womb, and that fear has manifested into the minds of our children. And now we are now leading the path of being less productive because of fear, right? Less successful because of fear, right? We, you always hear, especially the black mothers, don't go over there. Stay over there. Come over here. Come over here. Don't get dirty. Don't get dirty. Don't get dirty.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Come over here. Come closer to me, because of the fear
Right.
mechanism that was been engraved in the womb. Can you kind of enlighten and share some key elements in regards to that, and how we can overcome
Yeah.
that fear into healing and into a new civilization that we can all grow and love and respect?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's pretty deep because there has been a war on the feminine for a very long time, and it's very long time. Really removing her power,
Mm,
removing the power of her monthly, just her cycles throughout the month, right?
right.
But there has been a war, coming. People have to do what they have to do, but I have to say this, abortions,
Mm-hmm.
having to have different surgeries because the information and education about holistic healing just haven't been available to us for a
Right.
very long time, or maybe not affordable, accessible, and things like that. But to how to what actually happened, instead of
Mm-hmm.
laying up on some surgery table going to have our universe removed from out of our body, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the fear, like, that's a real thing. That's a real
Right.
thing. And that is all of the things that we are recovering. And so when a woman makes a decision to do womb healing, to sit down and listen to the wisdom of the womb, she
Mm-hmm.
is healing all of that ancestral trauma. There's been times where I have been in meditation and I have heard my ancestors' cries. And
Mm.
it is a very painful thing to hear. I remember being on my floor, balled up in a fetal position because I felt the pain in my body.
Mm.
Mm.
So yeah, and so that kind of travels through where we are right now in modern day. Don't go over there. Don't be out past daylight. I'm afraid that something is going to happen. But that conditioning and that programming is inside of our mind, and it is important that we cleanse the womb of the mind as well as cleanse the womb, our sacred space, from those traumas, and help us to remember that we really are safe. The community is going to be important. That peace is still important. We're still evolving back to returning to our community, keeping us safe. Um, yeah, but all of that is a part of why we have not been able to fully step into our power as women, because of that conditioning from slavery, and even prior to that, there has been a war on the woman for a long time. And then we'd be like, well, why though? Like, to ask
Mm.
the question, why? Why
Mm.
do we, why was, tampons created, or why is this happening?
Mm.
Why is that happening? Why is birth control pills happening? Why are they doing, all of that? And we have to be like, because they're trying to attack. It's an attack on my
That's
being.
right. That's
There is
Mm.
right.
an attack. Why is there an attack? Because we are powerful.
Mm.
Women are very powerful. There is a force inside of us. Let three of us get together. We can change the whole block. We can change our whole city. If we sit together with purpose and intention and say this is the thing that's going to happen, and we put that in our womb space and say this is what we need to happen, everything will change. And those, the powers that be that think they know, this is why we're distracted, having to work all the time, can't be with our family. I like to call it pimping the feminine, but that's my word. Everybody else call it something different. But having us all over the place, when it comes down time for our menstruation, we're not able to receive the clothes and all of the sacred information that we get at that particular time of the month. There was a time in indigenous culture where women were set aside at a certain time during a bleeding time, right? Not because they were necessarily unclean. And I know a lot of people may teach that, and that's fine. But we were set aside so that we can go be with the divine, so we can be with the most high, so that we can be with Allah. And so that that's when we're the most open. We are the most open to be able to hear the messages. And so in the villages, when she was done with that season, she would come back and report to the village, to the community, all that she received. And that's how the community thrived, from what she received during that time of separation from the village to be able to get what she needed to get. And that's how it happened. But now we are working. Everybody got two jobs. I got to go to school and I got to work two jobs. I got to feed the kids. I got to mop the floor. I got to clean the laundry. And we don't get time and hear what we need to hear to get the real guidance. We're in survival mode all the time. And so that is the pull that the universe is bringing back to her women so that she can bring balance back to this planet.
I want to, and I hate to jump in the double dutch before, but since my husband just mentioned something, you know, before I met my husband, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And with this autoimmune disease, of course, the doctors basically specified that, okay, based off of this autoimmune disease, you are going to basically be in a infertility state, to where, chances are you might not even be able to have children. And I was like, how? Why? But I never question it. When you're dealing with the white coats, it's like, hey, they got all the degrees. Who am I? I'm just, Kalila from the hood. I don't know. Maybe they're right. But the thing is playing with the psyche.
That white.
So, yeah. Yeah. So when I met my husband, I was like, hey, let me tell you something. When our courtship, I was like, hey, I can't have no babies. So if you're trying to get some babies, you got the wrong girl. Because this girl right here, these people already told me now. These people told me that I can't have no children, and I know you probably won't have children. You want to have some more little Sean's and stuff. And I can't do it. I'm just saying, if you want to love me for me and my, and who I am, I'll bring everything that I need, to the forefront. But I'm just letting you know right now before we even get started, I can't have no children. He said, okay. We got married on the 30th of March, 2013. I got pregnant the next month.
Wow.
So my babies are technically 19 years apart.
Wow.
So
Beautiful.
dealing with the womb, I know one thing, as you specified, letting go. That was the first thing. I had to let go whatever was in my mind and was planted in my thought process that I can't have children. So for 19 years, it was already growing. It created a seed, right? And that seed grew and blossomed to again, talking to my body, because we could talk good things and we could damn sure talk some bad things, right? And that I was growing that manifestation in my body for 19 years. And then now when I said I can't have any. My husband, he didn't say anything, but it's just the partnership
Yeah.
that we had because, again, dealing with his womb. Probably said, girl, please, we gonna have some babies around here. You know
But
what I'm
Leo,
saying?
can I
We
say
gonna,
this? It's the
yes,
mental shift.
right,
Your husband
right,
brought in that
The
shift.
energy that
right.
Special shout out to brother Sean.
That's right.
All praises to the brother.
changed the energy, shifted the
That's
energy.
right.
Can you imagine how many people leave from being in session with the white coat? They like, oh, you have diabetes, or you're just going to have to take these 5 medications for the rest of your life. Don't eat any shit, all of this type of thing.
Right.
And then they go home and they be with that, kind of like what you
Mhm.
just now, shared with us, 19 years. Instead of saying, you know what, these people told me this, let me go figure out how my body is supposed to actually, okay, I know
All
that's
right.
figure out how my body is supposed to work. And
Mhm.
now I'm going to go and do what I need to do, because the body is just always is intelligent. And
Sure.
one of the things while you was talking about that, I was a memory came up for me from one of my retreats, because and I had given them an assignment to. This was their first conversation with the womb, so we ended the night. This was their conversation. The next day, and one of the young ladies, she just said, "My womb told me I have always been trying to heal. I just needed
Mm.
your attention." And that is true. It is always trying
Mm.
to heal through the fibroids, through the endometriosis, through the cysts. This is one of the ways that she communicates that she is not well. But because the doctor will not tell you, go heal your mommy daddy trauma, go forgive yourself from whatever you had to do, go and do an energy cleansing from the people that you were with, go change your nutritional lifestyle, move your body. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to keep trying to get you into their surgery tables. But a lot of our medical issues in our womb is coming from emotional trauma that we have to release.
Makes
Mm.
sense. Makes
Mm.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to jump in because that resonated. That resonated. But I want to talk a little bit about what we kind of mentioned offset, right? For those sisters out there that may be in a situation where they may have, because of stress, emotional traumas, all types of things, right? That may have pushed them into pre-menopause early, right? Because there are some women out there that have gone into pre-menopause in their 20s, in their early 30s, and even in their early 40s. But is there hope, right, with the healing, right, of the body and the mind and the spirit and the womb to reconnect and be able to produce life again?
Absolutely. And so, one of my mentors, she's 60 years old, and she still has an active menstruation,
Mm.
very active. And she's like, I have not given my body permission to take a pause.
Mm.
I have not
That's
given my
right.
body permission to take a pause. So I feel like so when we talking about conditioning and programming, we feel like when we turn 50 years old, we're supposed to be in menopause, and we
Mm.
carry these thoughts around. But
Mm.
it's our
Mm.
mind. We have to remember how powerful it is, right? And so to answer your question, we absolutely can massage that thought, do the meditations, change your nutritional lifestyle, be consistent with it, do some meditations, and have those conversations with your womb. Spend time with her. Like, one of the things that is really important that I will even share with the audience and with you all as well is every single day. Do you all know what inversions are?
Oh man.
Inversions. Okay. So imagine with me that you're laying on the floor, right? And you have your legs in a parallel position on the wall. So your back is laying on there.
Mm. Mm.
Those are what inversions are. And the reason why inversions are helpful is because we're sitting down most times of the day, or we're standing up working, different things like that. So all of the fluids that nourishes your organs, your womb, um, Ashe, we give thanks. That nourishes your womb is going to the lower extremities. So all of those resources that all those nutrients that your womb needs, your colon needs, your kidneys need, is a lot of that is down in the feet at this point. So I guide my ladies to do inversions for about 15 or 20 minutes a day. I don't know if it'd be helpful to send a picture, at some point where you can kind of post it or something. I'm not sure. But if you all can follow that imagery with me, you just scooting yourself all the way to the floor, all the way to the wall, put your legs like a 90-degree angle like this, and just lay there. Be in your meditation, place your hands over your womb, which is located. I love pyramids, and so I do this type of thing with my
I love
hands.
it.
But your womb is located at about an inch below your navel, and just lay there. Listen, just allow yourself to tune into that specific part of your body. And sometimes she will begin to speak to you. You know what I'm saying? But doing those inversions are very important. If you get an opportunity to do some womb yoga, which is so many different YouTube videos that you can go in. That is womb yoga specifically is so good for strengthening our womb. It stretches open the hips. A lot of people have a lot of pain in that area, especially during menstruation, because it's so tight, there. And it just strengthens that area of our being. So yes, womb yoga inversions are extremely important to bring that fluid back down into our body. That's why we have a lot of cramping, because the fluids are not there. Dehydration, make sure we're taking in that water. That's another reason why we are experiencing so much pain in that area when it is time for menstruation, because we're dehydrated. Water. Yeah.
That
That
makes.
makes
I was
perfect
gonna say
sense.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually, on the bottom of the screen you will actually see our sister's information. If you want to follow her, she's all over the place. She's on IG. This is her email. She's on Facebook. I follow her on Facebook, by the way. She actually has a website. Please, 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 I encourage you, any sister who's on this platform right now, write this information down. This is very, very key, because again, I'm going to let her touch bases with you in regards to what her future endeavors are. But I want you all to make sure that you follow our sister. She's such a divine for me, right? Because again, I started my journeys for the search of knowledge as it relates to the feminine side of life, not just reading about it, but practicing it, applying it. Sometimes you got to even role play. Baby, can you get this? You can get that. Baby, can you just do it?
Oh
But just basically being able to embrace what got your rightful place. So her information is actually going down, scrolling down the bottom of the screen. In addition, I do have my own platform, which is, you know, um, Life Works with Kalila. She's also going to be on my platform as well. And we're going to dive. We're going to go deep sea diving, baby. We're going to be talking about everything, everything, everything.
Yeah.
Because the key element about this is where we need to be right now.
Yeah.
It's never too late to start healing,
Yeah.
right? So we want to basically be able to embrace. I can't even I can't. I don't even know a word. I know, Sister Michelle, you're gonna give me a word later on, but something that we have lost, and we don't know what it is. We don't know why we do the things we do. We don't know why we cannot keep a male,
Mm,
even attention.
mm, mm.
We can't even, I don't know. And then then now you're at this point where you have this Kevin Samuels character that's basically degrading you because you're too old. You're seasoned. If you're a certain age, you don't have the capacity to even get anybody. So you are far behind. So he tells you to get a dog and things of that nature. So you have these men that is creating their own atmosphere of other men thinking that a woman supposed to be this table bringer or what you're bringing to the table. I'm bringing to the table civilization. If it wasn't for me, there would be no you. So we need to be able to claim what has always been ours and stop sleeping on the manifestation of the womb. So we're gonna dive into it. We gonna dive into it. Yes. We going at it. So stay tuned. Me and Sister Michelle is going to we gonna get it in. We gonna get it in. We gonna get it in.
I was gonna say,
What?
Sister Lila, don't forget about her journal, her work.
Yeah. I was gonna. That was next. I was gonna actually have her. There you go. I was gonna, and I'm gonna have it scroll down the bottom of the screen as well. And can you touch in regards, because me and Sister Michelle is on it. We already done. Oh, we the first. We the first students. Boom.
Oh yes.
Listen,
Oh yes.
that is so
We
funny.
the first students.
Just announced. Let me tell you, I have done classes, I have done events, I have done retreats. I am so excited for this class because I have been marinating with this. I was like, is it time? Is it time? And it's just like the mother was like, no, ma'am, it's not time because I need you to do some things first. And yes, I've been rolling around in my backyard some days like, oh my God, this is too much. But when you have said yes, that's it, it's over. So yeah, it would be an honor to have you in the space. I'm excited. All right, so the Rosebud Workbook Journal. I call it the Rosebud because my company name is called Womb of Roses. So the Rosebud came one day at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was in my bath. I like to get up at that time of the morning. It's just a beautiful. You all know because I know you all are waking up at that time of the morning.
Yeah.
There's something very special and sacred at that time of the morning. So I was just sitting there, and I was just like, the work that I am doing, how can I change the trajectory of how many other women suffer this behind me? And I just sat there with that inquiry, and it was like the Rosebud Workbook Journal. So the Rosebud represents the young girls. So that's what I was guided to do, was to provide them a tangible resource that they can use to be able to help them. And so the 10-year-old inside of me, it was inspired this book because at 10 years old, that's when I began my own menarche, which is a girl's first bleed. I had no idea what was going on. I had no guidance. I had no idea when to expect my next, who to tell who did I need to tell that I needed hygiene products. I was out winging it. And so I'm sitting there, and all I saw was the vision of my 10-year-old self lost, literally lost. And she just was like, you got to do this. You got to do this. I'm not an author, but I had to do it. And the guidance came to me. I couldn't even slow down writing. I just was like writing, and, so other things came up behind it to do menarche ceremonies with little girls so that when they enter into this rites of passage, the family will contact me, those who know I do it, to come and do a ceremony like it's a celebration so we can break the stigma that's around this and the embarrassment and different things like that. I would be showing up to school, all kind of problems going on, and it was terrible. So the journal talks about my story, what that was like, give a place for her to tell her story, give different herb tips that she can use to be able to help her with like any cramping and different things like that. I have a 1-year journal, a 1-year tracking and monitoring for her. Every month she gets to write down when she's spotting, or if it's heavy, or she's cramping, record her dreams throughout, the whole year. So that's where the Rosebud comes in. I teach you how to do inversions in here as well. So it's that age group from maybe like 10 to 19, but we all have that 13-year-old inside of us that be like, I wish I
Sure.
had that, you know. So
Right, right.
that's what the Rosebud Workbook Journal is all about. And she's doing really well. I am grateful for how she's performing.
Wow.
And
Well,
it is website and Amazon. Of course, most authors would like for you to purchase directly from them because we know Amazon is out there
Sure.
holding
I
on,
was going to say true. That's true.
Sure.
holding on.
But I was going to say I shared your link in the window, so the audience has your information.
Right.
Right in the chat box. There's no excuses. You go ahead and you support Carisha Walker.
Right.
Okay? She's doing
And
some
a
good.
lot of people was just indicating that I'm following her now. I'm about to follow on IG. So I'm
Please.
telling you, when I say such a, and it's so funny because when you never really meet somebody in person, but you can actually feel their spirit through their Facebook page or through their other social medias, you could be like, this girl, here bad. I like her. She cool. I like her. I want to ride with her. And it's a thing because again, when you can acknowledge feminine energy and real feminine energy, not the fake stuff, not the stuff that you have to paint your face and make your face look like you're feminine, but inside that you're still struggling with masculinity, right? Because that's real. That is real. You look like somebody that you trying to attract a man, and then when the man, as soon as you open your mouth, you are so combative to where your beautiful self have just now deflated yourself because of where you want to stand and how you want to be in this world of role reversal, right? So I just encourage you all, if you want to get back to what God has created you for, you will identify, once you get into your feminine state, you will identify your purpose. A lot of people do not know what they're on this earth for. I'm just let's start with that.
That's
You will
right.
identify who you are. You will identify your purpose. You will identify your being. You will feel things that you never felt before, right? You will experience something that is like an out of body experience. You'll feel like you're not even on this planet.
That's right.
And I can only bear witness because when I said this is what I want, God gave it to me.
Yeah.
So I just again,
Listen, it is. Your story is
that's
real.
my girl,
That's,
right?
that's it. But this is a beautiful thing. But and I will say this because we gotta land the ship, Sister Garisha. We're in the middle of Ramadan and we know that on the East Coast we're all a little
Right. Listen.
A little dry right now.
a little dry, but we're
I'm over here with my water.
Right. We all in your screen.
Drinking water through you.
Yeah, that's drinking water right in front of us, sister. Yeah.
It's all good. But listen, we really and I know I won't speak for everybody, but I do know we really appreciate just your willingness and your love and your spirit and your being and and just your spirit of giving at this moment because you gave us a lot, right? In such a short amount of time. And it really is something that we really shouldn't take for granted. As women, we go through a lot. And the men that are in our lives, they go through a lot. And we have to learn how to heal because that is the only way that we're going to be able to move forward, right? In a more healthier way, mentally, spiritually, and physically. It's all interconnected. So I just want to thank you for your knowledge and the study that you've taken yourself through, because that is a journey when you're learning something and you're perfecting something and you're giving back the gift that the Almighty has given you, right? Through your discipline of study, it's a benefit for Him. Everything we do is for Him, right? So even having you here and us being on this platform, it is for those that are listening and for ourselves. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just, we're not just doing this. This is really, honestly, we talk about this a lot, but it's really about saving a life. We got to help
Mm-hmm.
save each other. We got to help
That's
pull us
right.
up ourselves out of the water. So we appreciate Allah giving us you here
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
tonight to give
Say
whatever
it.
you had on your heart. So we thank you, we appreciate you, and we pray that the audience and ourselves have taken whatever it is that Allah wanted to give for us to hear and to inject into our hearts so that we can be better than what we was yesterday. So I want to thank you for being here, and I will allow the team to do our rounds. But I just want
You're
to
gonna make
thank
me
you
come
for
after that, Sister Michelle? Oh my God! I have
You
no
want your
comment
heart?
after that.
Yeah,
No, may I, Sister Kalila? I have to ask
absolutely,
your
you may.
permission first.
Please.
I'm going to say this: we need to have you here for part two, dear sister, and
Absolutely.
I think more on a conversation about what slavery has actually done to us, because it has really messed up our
Mm-hmm.
whole mind, our systems, and we don't know how to even function with ourselves or with one another. And so we have to become restored to
yeah.
how we naturally are, both as men and women. And so it's just a lot to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when we're talking about healing, it's not just us in this lifetime, but everything that we have experienced for the past 400, 500 years
Mm-hmm.
here in America and even outside of America
Lord,
and
yeah.
throughout the Western Hemisphere.
Mm.
And so I thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us, my sister. And we will continue this conversation.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's so funny because I think you read my mind. Like, there is a thing called telepathic hearing, right? Like, we understand that that's a real
Sure.
thing, right? I literally was sitting here, I think when Sister Michelle was talking, I was like, I so feel a part two. I don't feel like we was complete.
Right.
We're complete
No,
tonight, but
far
I
from it.
don't feel like we were complete.
Right.
But you all
It's the
got me
tip of
over
the iceberg.
Right.
Tip of the iceberg.
Right.
my heart is in such deep gratitude. Truly, truly grateful to the Most High for this opportunity, for the work, like you said, that I have done, even when I didn't even know why I was doing it.
Mm.
Even now, it continues. It never stops because we're constantly evolving. The planet always reminds me, how do I get a chance to evolve and you not? You cannot stay that way. And so when
Mm.
I am growing, it's a painful process because, and like all of us, it's painful because parts of you that's no longer needed has got to be, got to be shedded now, and that can be painful because the part of you like, I like that part of me. But there is no
Mm.
comfort when you are on your purpose. And Sister Kalila, I am so grateful that you said that because that is true. And I'm going to shut my pie hole in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
When you embody the feminine, and it's not like you said, it's not about putting on makeup, even though makeup is beautiful. If that's what you
Right.
want, that's great. But it's about embodying the principles of the
Mm,
feminine and standing very firm on those principles. And that's why, unfortunately, we are where we are because we have been wavering in
right.
our feminine power, allowing people to push us to and fro. And we have to stand firm and stand united as a united front, as women and men on this journey. But I am so grateful. When I'm telling you, like, I probably when I close this computer, I'm going to go cry out of
Oh.
Now look, you just opened up something because look, sister. As men, we need to be in touch with
yes,
the feminine energy ourselves.
Sure.
yes,
It
because
can't. It just can't be all no.
we
And
all have
it don't even have to be like this.
right.
It don't have to be.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
We can be comfortable as men being as we are.
Yeah,
The whole thing about auntie talk, the motherly role, as men, we have to take on the responsibility of speaking to our young men and guiding them in the same way. And that is tapping into that feminine aspect of self, the creative aspect of self. As men,
yes,
we need to touch in, tap into that ourselves as well. And so,
Yes.
thank you for joining us, my sister.
Thank you. I
You-
appreciate it. Give thanks.
yeah, and you just this closing remarks from me. Um, I always wanted to know what feminine looks like. Coming from my mother is on here. She's thanking you, Sister Barbara. She's on here looking at me, and she she raised 8 of us. Out of 8, I was the 7th child,
Mm.
and I knew how to work. I knew how to survive. I knew how to give, and I knew how to support. None of that actually tied into the feminine realm. It was always about hustle. It was always about making sure that I was on top because I know what the bottom looked like. So that was always my fear. Always being able to maintain the top. So therefore I would never look at the bottom and be there. And so it raised my level of masculinity to where I had to be around men, right? I had to feel the energy of masculinity to where now because I have a fear mechanism in me, I'm inserting fear in other people. I wanted you to fear me. I wanted to be a police officer. I really did. I wanted to be like somebody in power because that was something that drove me to always feel like power is top, right? But as we are taught in our class, in our MGT class, the feminine is the subconscious mind. It has to lay you know, it has to lay there, and it has to be insightful of the conscious mind, which is where the masculinity is, right? But when you live there and you do not um channel or visit that femininity, that's when your mind tells you that you are a man. That's where the mind says that, hey, I might need to cut my hair. The mind tell you, I want to actually be able to now have a woman. We got to be real, right? Because I'm so masculine to now I want to be a man, right? So we have to be able to say, hey, that's not what God created me to be.
Come on, teach.
And what does that look like? All right. Let's deal with the DNA of self, and let's awakening, which I love that beautiful word that you use, Sister Carisha, awaken that spirit that God has placed in you so you can carry on and build legacy in this world. So that's my closing remarks. I want to every woman that's on here right now, Sister Jahan, Sister Yolanda, Sister Maya, you know, Miss Annette. We're gonna have a part 2, but we're gonna dig so deep to where I'm telling you, after you leave this platform, I'm telling you, you're gonna be saying, I'm every woman. It's all in me. I'm telling we're gonna have a ball. Ain't that right, Sister Michelle?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So
ma'am.
I'm excited, Sister Jahan. I might bring you along because another beautiful feminine energy as well that's on the platform as well. We're gonna have a celebration of feminine life, and we're gonna bring that back to the forefront. So I'm done.
Well,
I already
listen,
told you that this is my my
I know.
path.
Listen,
I'm
when
sorry.
Sister Lila goes, she's just
I'm
full.
sorry. I'm sorry.
She's
I'm sorry.
full. But alhamdulillah, right? Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Listen, it's been a beautiful evening. Again, let's thank Carisha by going to her website,
Yes.
following her on IG, getting her journal that's going to hit. Is it April 30th that it's going to be ready?
So the journal is already, the class, I'm actually going to be rolling out all the details on my IG. IG is where I am in full regalia with what I do. So IG would be the place, but I'm going to be rolling out the class with all the details on Sunday, and we're going to be getting started for May. We're going to take a 6-week journey together with this one, because it needs to be slow, methodical, and strategic, because the energy for this class is requiring for us to show up. That's all I know.
Well, we got our marching orders. I don't know about you now, but we gonna jump in. I will figure it out. I will find the time, but I'm in. I'm in. I'm at that point in my life where anywho. So listen, we're gonna let the audience go. We know that again, if you're not observing Ramadan, remember this is a month of just reconnecting with self, with Allah, realigning yourself, giving yourself an opportunity to kind of put things back in alignment. So with this program that we had with Sis Carisha, let's take this and move out. If you're not observing Ramadan, just praise God for the next 10 days, right? It's never too late. Be thankful, be grateful. I mean, I was sitting in the car today, I was behind somebody, and her place said, I'm blessed, I'm grateful. And I said to myself, absolutely. So those that are observing Ramadan, we're in our last 10 days. The night of power is coming. And so this is the time that whatever you want or whatever you're praying to Allah for, that He can bring it forth. So let's take this time. I know it's almost time. We got to say prayer and we're going to break, but I just want to thank everybody for coming in, staying with us. Facebook, IG, YouTube is what we're on. Please, again, follow this sister. She got something to say. I could feel her spirit. I'm just saying, this is real talk. But either way, I'm not going to belabor the message. Now, listen, Sister Carisha, we don't have Brother Lau here, and if you're an avid watcher, you know what he says. He says, "We're not a clique."
You're gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I gotta do the finger thing.
I can't do it. I did it, Brother Lau.
We love you, Brother Lau. We love you.
We love you. Listen, good night, everyone. We love you all.
Good night, everyone. Thanks again.
See you next Thursday.
Assalamu alaikum.